Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Luke's Monster. Today I'm going to be reviewing the Star Wars Black Series Return of the Jedi Biker Scout. Now this one is just a repack from the original Biker Scout, but it has been a long time since we got that. We did get an updated release in the archive line a few years later, but that was back in 2019, so it has been a solid 3 to 4 years since we've actually gotten a release of this figure, and it's about time to see it again. So I'm really happy we got this one. Let's take a close look at the card here. I do love the vintage throwback card back that the Black Series does here with their 40th anniversary line. We do have this amazing artwork of the Biker Scout here, which is of course based off of the original card back, and I'm loving how this looks. We do have the 40th anniversary logo of Return of the Jedi up here, and we do have the original Kenner logo as well. Flipping around to the back, we do have all the figures in this wave looking nice, and a ton of legal stuff as well. So let's go ahead, crack this guy open, and take a closer look at the figure. Alrighty, so we do have the Scout Trooper out of the box here, and I gotta say, this is a figure that I absolutely love. It's by far one of my favorite designs for Stormtrooper armor in the entire, just Star Wars universe. It's one of my favorites. I love the Biker Scout so much, and I'm really glad I actually have a figure of him now, because I have a few different variants, but this is my first true Return of the Jedi Biker Scout that I own, and I'm really, really happy to have him in my collection now. So go ahead, get him off of this spinny stand, and take a closer look at articulation and paint apps. Alrighty, so first up, looking at paint apps, I gotta say, I love all of the detail and weathering they put into this figure. Just some little subtle, bits of some weathering in the chest here. Do have the nice gray pockets here, I love that. And then, of course, the main weathering is on the boots, and I absolutely love the weathering on the boots. They killed it, knocked it out of the park with that. Even does have his holster for the blaster, so I really love the ankle holster there. He even does have some weathering on the back of the elbow pad, so I do appreciate that. And then a nice little red line going on his backpack here, as well as this black line. This is the first figure, Scout Trooper figure I have that actually has any really paint on this back piece here, so really cool to see that. Overall, some really solid paint apps on this figure. Next up, we're going to be looking at articulation, and for a figure that came out in, 2015, this guy is killing it with articulation. He does have a ball joint, as well as a hinge there at the neck. His arm can go up into a T-pose if you would like. He also does have a swivel at the bicep. Does have a double jointed arm and can get all the way 180-degree articulation on the elbow, which I love. Then he also does have a swivel at the wrist, as well as a vertical hinge. He does have vertical hinges on both hands, which is pretty interesting. Normally they do have vertical and horizontal, but they do have vertical on both for this guy. He does have a ball joint at the, chest area, right below the chest. And then looking down, he does not have as good leg articulation just because these little pieces here hang down and get in the way, but he can still get the job done pretty much with what he's got. He's got some great knee articulation. He can kick himself in the butt. You're never going to need to use that. His blaster did, of course, fall out, but it can go right back in. Looking at the ankles here, he does have rockers at the ankles, so they do go back and forth. And then he also does have hinges, so ton of articulation there. And then another boot swivel as well, and a thigh swivel at the top. So ton of articulation on this guy. For a figure that came out in 2015, he's got some of the best articulation of any figure in the line, which I absolutely love. Now, unfortunately, I don't own the original speeder bike, but I do own the Mandalorian version, which is white rather than brown, which is a little unfortunate, but I still think it gets the job done. And as you can see, kind of the scale comparison of how this guy actually looks on a speeder bike. And we're going to go ahead and get this guy off and put this guy on. But as you can see here, he fits on the speeder bike quite nicely, and he looks incredible doing it. So I'm really hoping they do a re-release of the Return of the Jedi one at some point. But yeah, this does look awesome, and I really love the speeder bikes. I love the Black Series speeders, and I wish they would do them more often. Anyway, moving on to full comparisons. On the right, obviously, we just have what you guys just saw is the Remnant Scout Trooper from the Mandalorian, and I gotta say, these two look great together. I love how weathered this guy is. I love how it looks, and he looks great next to this one as well. I will say, though, I think the boots on this guy are a lot weathered better than the boots on this guy, which is quite interesting. But overall, they both look great, and it's interesting to see the comparison between the two. Anyway, next up for comparisons, we do have the two Fallen Order Scout Troopers. So on the left is the original Fallen Order one, and on the right is the brand new Jedi Survivor one. As you can tell, this is essentially pretty close to exactly the same. Main difference is the weathering on the boots, and then of course this one does have the pockets on like the abdomen area, where this one does have this big like vest thing, and then obviously on the back he does have the vest which wraps around. But as you can tell, not as much paint on like the backpack of this guy compared to the one we just looked at, the brand new Return of the Jedi version. So pretty interesting, but I still think they look great together. Next up, obviously this guy is just a basic Imperial troop, so we're going to kind of compare him to as many different variants of Imperial troops as possible. So we do have the White Pauldron Sand Trooper on the left, and the standard Imperial Stormtrooper on the right. The Scout Trooper was in the Force Unleashed video game, so we do have the Shadow Trooper on the left, and the Stormtrooper Commander on the right, looking great as well. So if you do want a Force Unleashed display, this guy works great for that as well. We also do have two pilots, so we do have the AT pilot on the left, and of course the TIE pilot on the right. We're still waiting on an AT-ST pilot, so fingers crossed this year for the 40th anniversary. We'll have to wait and see, but this guy looks great. And then of course we also do have the Shore Trooper on the left, and the Death Trooper on the right, looking great. Next up, we're moving on to some main characters. We do have Endor Leia on the left, and we do have Endor Han on the right. I do love these Endor figures. I know both of these are part of Wave 1 of the 40th anniversary, but both of these are just the original standard Galaxy box packaging, so not the newer versions, but they are exactly the same figures. And then last up for comparisons, we do have Endor Luke on the left, and we do have Vader from Kenobi on the right. Looking great. I really love how the Return of the Jedi's figures so far have come out, and they all look really good next to the Scout Trooper. So yeah, overall, I absolutely love this Scout Trooper. It's one of my favorite designs as like an Imperial Stormtrooper, and I'm really glad I have the standard variant in my collection now. I'm just really hoping we get a speeder bike pretty soon. I mean, it's the 40th anniversary of Return of the Jedi, and we got the Biker Scout, but we haven't had a speeder bike release since the original release back in 2014 or 15, and we did get kind of like a re-release recently with the Heroes of Endor pack back in 2020, but we didn't get a Biker Scout with that speeder, so I'm hoping we get a brand new speeder at some point this year. We'll have to wait and see though. Either way, this guy's looking incredible, and I do recommend him to anybody who doesn't have a Biker Scout, and even if you do have a Biker Scout, go ahead and pick this one up. It never hurts to have more than one. So if you did enjoy, hit the like button and subscribe, and comment down below what you guys think of this figure, and I'll see you guys in the next video.